This screencast is about Outcomes, Entry Ratings Detail TRAD Report. The Entry Ratings Detail Report is one of 6 TRAD reports related to the Global Child Outcomes. You can use this report to get information about entry ratings for individual children and to check for unusual patterns in your program's child outcomes ratings. To access the report, select Outcomes, Entry Ratings Detail from the first drop-down menu. To select the time frame for the report, first select a start date in the field labeled From, and an end date in the field labeled To. The report will include all children who enrolled and were assigned entry ratings during the selected time frame. Select a format for the report. All formats present the same information. Click the Generate Report button. When you open the report, you will see a table or spreadsheet. Near the top of the report on row 5, if you chose the Excel format, you see the date and time the report was created, followed by the number of rows returned. This is the number of children who received entry ratings during the selected time frame. Also near the top of the report, on rows 10 and 12, you see information on the number and percentages of children who received ratings which should be rare. On row 10, you see the frequency or number of children who are assigned a 1 on all 3 Global Child Outcomes during the selected time frame. You also see the percentage of children who received all 1s. Row 12 shows the same information for children who enrolled with entry ratings of all 6s and 7s. These pieces of information are also links, which will take you to drill-down reports showing only those children who received all 1s or all 6s and 7s. Click on the link for all 1s. Click on the link for all 6s and 7s. And this is the report for all 6s and 7s. And now back to the Outcomes Entry Ratings Detail TRAD report. The Entry Ratings Detail report includes a lot of information. The first 2 columns are for the child's last and first names. The third column contains the child's middle initial if one was entered into TKids. The next 2 columns include the child's TKids case ID and child ID numbers. The 6th and 7th columns contain optional local data, the office ID and local ID number. The next 3 columns show the entry ratings on each of the 3 Global Child Outcomes. The 8th column shows the rating for Outcome 1, the 9th column for Outcome 2, and the 10th column for Outcome 3. Each rating is a number from 1 through 7. These ratings indicate how close the child is to age expected development on each outcome. A 7 means the child is demonstrating skills that are completely age appropriate. A 1 means the child's development is very delayed compared to typically developing children of the same age. The following 2 columns are for the assigned service coordinator's first and last names. The 13th column shows the child's age in months on the day the ratings were assigned. The 14th column shows the child's date of birth. The next column includes the date the child enrolled in your program. This is followed by a column for the date a child transferred into your program, if this applies. The next column contains the date the entry ratings were assigned. The remainder of the report, except for the last column, has information related to the child's eligibility, starting with the eligibility type. Following this is the child's adjusted age. The child's adjusted age is shown in months if the age was adjusted at the time of eligibility determination. If the child's age was not adjusted, the field will be left blank. The next 7 columns show the child's score on each domain of the BDI-2, including expressive communication if applicable for children who qualified via the BDI-2. Next are 4 columns documenting atypical development. These are an artifact of ECI's previous eligibility categories and should not be populated. These fields will be removed in future updates of this report. The next 2 columns with the column heading shaded green will include a Y for children who qualified with either a hearing or vision impairment. Following this are 7 columns grouped together under the heading Percent Developmental Delay Qualitative, which is orange. The first 5 of these columns contain the percentage of delay for children with a chronological or adjusted age of 3 months or older who qualified via qualitative determination. The domain in which the child qualified should include the appropriate percentage. The last 2 columns in this section are for children under 3 months of age who qualified based on a qualitative determination of delay. The appropriate column will be marked with the Y. The next 5 columns are where medical diagnoses are listed for children who are eligible due to a qualifying medical diagnosis. Up to 5 diagnoses can be listed for each child. Finally, the last column indicates whether the child is involved with Child Protective Services. This column is populated with a Y or an N. A Y indicates the child was referred by CPS, or the family is currently involved in a CPS investigation, substitute care, or family-based safety services.